Whenever we talk about using numbers in your presentation, you have to understand that's a double-edged sword. It's great to use numbers because statistics will convince, but at the same time, it's hard for people to hear, understand, and process long and complex numbers. A couple of techniques that you can use that will help this is to repeat the number. If I hit a number in my presentation, I'll usually say it at least twice. I'll say 23% of all hospitals in Ohio are losing money or operating at a margin of less than 2%. Now that's amazing, right? 23% of all hospitals in Ohio. So by repeating that number, your audience has more than a single chance to hear it and catch it. Of course, we like to round off numbers. The more complex the number, the more difficult it can be to get our minds around it when shared only verbally. So it helps to round that number off to make it easier to understand. For instance, in America, how many people are today living with HIV and AIDS? As of today, 468,578, or about 500,000 people. By rounding it off, it's a lot easier for us to understand. The first number, 468,578, sounds very precise, and it sounds like you're not just making this up. But then the second, when you say it's almost 500,000 people, then it's easier for us to kind of grasp that. Of course, we want to show it and then say it if we can. If you put numbers up on a PowerPoint slide and then you say them out loud, the audience has a better chance of getting it. And certainly if your presentation is going to necessarily contain multiple numbers, then a PowerPoint slide deck can really help your audience follow along. Compare the number and then compare the number to one we can easily relate to. For instance, if you say about 1.5 million people are in hospice in the United States, just to give you some idea how large that population is, if we put all the people receiving hospice care into one area, it would be America's 5th largest city. And in the end, I'll leave you with this. The old saying goes, 100,000 deaths is a statistic. One death when it's someone you love is a tragedy.